Alrighty. And we are go. 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 That's it. That's what I'm looking for. Alright. I can press that button, because I am live and I am on. And that is truly all I need to know. That's all I need to pay attention to right this very second. Okay. That's on. That's making noise. Not in my ears, though, which is a good thing. I'm going to mute this tab. I'm going to tell people that I'm actually live and online for once in my life, because that's always a thing that I forget to do. And then I'm going to tackle my next problem. The fact that I have got all of this set up and I don't even have a cup of water or paint or anything like that. God damn it. Why do I always do this? Why do I always do this to myself? Hello, hello! What's going on? What's poppin'? An Ethan stream? That's exactly right! It's been 1,000,000,000,000,000 years, but I'm back at it again, baby. Remind me not to drink from this one. I have 2 different cups, and one of them is full of deadly toxic paint water, and the other one is full of the caffeine that I need to survive in this motherfucking society. Although, truly, I don't think that's going to be very confusing. I'm not exactly going to be jumping out of my skin to put paintbrushes in this mug, because this mug is special to me, for obvious reasons. Hello, hello! Hello, Stygian! Hello, C! Hello, Ignis Rex! What's poppin'? What's going on? Mix them both? I absolutely will not do that, because this has coffee, and that has toxic chemical water that I simply do not need to drink. But have before in the past, because let's face it, we've all done it at least once. Got an argument about AI art to watch. The only argument for artificial intelligent art is that you shouldn't do it. The only argument is no. We're anti-AI in this house. And for good reason. That's all my shit. Okay. What am I working on today? I am working on some orcs that I've really been meaning to finish off. Like, I've got a bunch of orcs here that are like 90% of the way done. They just need a couple of little touch-ups, such as this commando here. He's pretty much 90% done, just needs to do like some final detailing, shading, everything like that. And who else do I have here? I have another commando. Let's see. There we go, there's another commando. We love this guy. We love this guy. I started painting this guy for like a YouTube video, like a YouTube tutorial that I wanted to put together. And now I just need to finish him. So he's probably the #1 priority that I have working on this session today. He's mostly done. I just need to like... Yeah, all of the base colors are done. I just need to like do all the fucking like shade paints and everything like that. You know what I mean? I didn't ever drink my paint water because I have a mason jar for it. I also have this very lovely Frontier Wargaming mug that is specifically built for being a paint mug. I mean, I guess a mug is a mug at the end of the day, but it's like fully metal. It's like the stuff that you're supposed to put noxious chemicals into. It's not like ceramic, which is going to be like eaten away over time, I'm told. I actually don't know. You have to try once. Paint water tastes funny. I mean, do you really have to? Is requiring the act of drinking paint water like a necessary step in the evolutionary chain of painting prowess? It's a rite of passage, I guess. I guess that is pretty important. Do we have a mod? No, it's just me today. But I'm just going to be chilling and painting and things like that, so... No trouble's gonna come to little old Ethan, I say. I just use plastic cups for paint. Yeah, I do too. Like, like, me having a special mug is only because it came for free with another thing that I bought. So, like, I'm not gonna be one of those people who's out here, like, if you don't have a specific metal mug of a specific pH for your paint water, then fuck you. You're not good at this. Like, a mug is a mug. I just have a fancy one because I got a fancy thing and I like it. I like it, you know what I mean? Let's see, what am I doing for him? It's been so long since I've, like, started painting. I've gone back to painting this guy. I'm, like, trying to learn it all over again. Okay, I need my shade paints. Where are they? Have you seen the new Kill Team trailer? Is that the one with the bugs and the flying guys? I saw that one. That was pretty cool. Unless there's another one that I've been out of the loop on. I feel like I'm pretty up to date with a lot of Warhammer stuff these days. Like, considering the fact that 90% of my Instagram feed is like new Warhammer news, like I feel like I'm pretty up to date with you know, trailers and things like that. There's only two things that I get on Instagram. It's Warhammer updates, Warhammer miniatures, and just the horniest post you've ever seen in your life. And I have no idea why that third one's there. Like, the only thing that I like on Instagram is cool miniatures. But, you know, algorithms be algorithms. The Deathcore one, where they're fighting the Kommandos, the original one. I have seen that one. That one's very cool. Okay, I am going to... Alright, I'm just gonna start putting some shade paints on this guy. Just gonna start slapping some shade down here. Because that's what I'm here for. Throwing shade. Why do I look that way? The camera's there. I also don't want to listen to the soundtrack. Okay. Now I can actually get started on doing this. Made me collect Deathcore as an army? Hell yes! Well, if you collect Deathcore as an army, you are probably having the time of your life right now, ain't you? I think it's interesting how they're, like, really pushing all of this new Deathcore stuff. You know, as almost like it's its own, like, army sort of thing. Not like its own army, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're really pushing a lot of the new Deathcore stuff with the Guard. Which I think is interesting, because I was under the assumption, I guess you could say, like, I was under the assumption that, like, the Deathcore were more supplemental. Like, I didn't think you could make an entire Deathcore army, and I thought that was almost by design. But now with, like, the changes it looks like they've made to the, you know, the Guard Codex and everything like that, it looks like, you know, you can set your Guard army to be more like, no, this is the Deathcore, this is the Cadian whatever infantry, these are the Catachan jungle fighters, and you can just specialize in that for your entire army. Which, now that I'm voicing it like that, it feels like that makes more sense. Because, like, historically, I thought there was, like, only the veteran guardsmen that you could collect. Like, that was the only official Deathcore model outside of some obscure old ones, or anything like that. My wallet hurts. Yeah, that's the life of a guard player, I'm told. That harness is so cool. Thank you. It is my favorite harness that I have worn 10 billion times before, and I will wear it 10 billion times again. Because that's the kind of man I am. I don't go out and buy just, like, new fits that I'm only going to wear, like, once on the internet.com. I buy something and then I wear it forever because I like it. I like it. Deathcore has a lot of Forge World kids. You could have played a full Krieg. You could only play a full Krieg if you're a multi-millionaire. Yeah, that's what I heard. They're an interesting bunch. I finished the like, the last time I had to get on an international flight, which isn't something that I do every day, mind you. But the last time I had to get on an international flight, I loaded up the, like the Krieg Black Library novel that they wrote as, like, my audiobook of choice for the flight. And, like, I feel like it was a good read, first of all, don't get me wrong. But, like, I felt like I enjoyed the book in a way that seems very antithetical to the way that, like, a lot of people seem to enjoy the Deathcore. Does that make sense? Like, a lot of people who, Like, a lot of people who really enjoy the deathcore are like, yeah, they're so, like, gritty and edgy and, like, yeah, they just love, like, fighting wars and killing and World War II aesthetics. And I read the book, and I was like, hey, this is sad, actually. Like, all these people are deeply sad. Hello! YouTube user More of Mo. What's poppin'? It's been a while. I guess it's been a while for me. I haven't really... I've been out of the stream game. I've been doing other stuff. I've been having a life, if you can believe it or not. No. I tried streaming on TikTok for a little bit for a while there, which I was having a lot of fun doing that. It was like a nice little change of pace. You know what I mean? Although, you know, it's a very Ethan thing to do, to get into TikTok streaming like 2 days before it's banned in the United States. Heyo! Okay. I just want to make sure that I get, like, every nook and cranny that this guy has. I just want to make sure that I'm, like, centered. I need, like, a little marker or something to make sure that the thing is centered. Hold on, do I have something we can use for that? Surely I must have, like, a weird token or coin or something. Here, why don't I use this? Why don't I use this? Okay. Okay, Bejazzled Beholder, you are going to dictate what the center of my camera is, and I'm going to hold my miniature directly over that when I paint. Yeah, that's way better. I like them because they remind me of The All Quiet on the Western Front novel. Hell yes! That sounds like an act of literature. An act of literature. That sounds like a book I have not read because it sounds like it's smart. There's a lot of classic books that I haven't read. I don't read many books. Although, I'm sure that's obvious from the Everything About Me. How many models do you have in my pile of 3 colors? Well, Chaplain the Blooded, too many right now. I've got a bunch of these, like, Meganobz, which I've really been meaning to get around and finish up. Like, they only have 2 colors on them. Well, 3 if you count the base coat. I've been meaning to get to these Meganobz. I've got, like... God, I've been building a lot recently. I actually don't have too many stuff on my, like, you know, I don't really have too much on my, like, started but not finished pile. Mainly because I, like, bought an army set for Christmas for the orcs, and I've just been having a lot of fun building them. You know what I mean? My mic looks like it's peaking. I gotta turn that down a little bit. Because, yeah, I got a whole bunch of new boys to build. Having a great time. It's about a German soldier in World War I, makes me cry every time. Oh, that does sound like classic literature. I'm a lurk while I'm working for an art piece for class. No worries. You lurk, you hide, you troll, you do whatever you want. Well, don't troll, actually. Nobody's allowed to be mean to me on the internet. That's my one rule. I get one. Doesn't drill out the barrel holes, I've got to unfollow. Listen. I am very adamantly of the mind that you don't need to drill your barrel holes. You don't have to do it. You know who's trying to get you to do that? Big hole. Nope. Big drill. It's all a conspiracy. Big hole. I love those earrings. Thank you. YouTube user C. These earrings were purchased for me at Hot Topic. Because apparently, my go-to place for Christmas presents, for other people getting Christmas presents for me, is Hot Topic. And I am not mad about that. That is a statement of fact, and I will stand by it. Where's my shade paint? Agrax Earth Shade. There we go. I've got like 90 Tyranids to finish, so it could be worse. I mean, Tyranids are the army that if there's ever one army that that's going to have like 90 unfinished models on somebody's pile, it's going to be the Tyranids. Hell, I have 90 unfinished Tyranid models, and I don't even play the Tyranids. I still haven't finished the Leviathan set. Like, that's how behind the times I am. Yo, I love shopping on Hot Topic. It's a good place to shop. Like, if you just want, like, cool alternative outfits that are probably cheap and made, and cheaply made and made in China, like, that's the place to go. Because let's be real, what place isn't made in China these days? Fucking... You buy something from the expensive $500 store, or you buy something from the, you know, 2-cent online retail, it all comes from the same bloody place half the time. Okay. Let's see. Have you seen or heard of Trench Crusade? I have seen or heard of Trench Crusade. I wanted to do, I think I actually started recording a video about Trench Crusade. Here's a fun little like Ethan life update. Over like November and December, I started and scrapped like fucking... I want to say like 5 different YouTube videos. Like I thought to myself like, whoa, this would be like a cool idea of like a video. And then I like either started it or like got past the brainstorming stage. And then I was just like, no, I don't want to do this actually. Mess up the camera, I'm just gonna move that. But like when it comes to Trench Crusade, I respect Trench Crusade. I really do. Like, Trench Crusade is so, like... It is so much its own thing, and what that thing is 100% not for me. Like, I got mad respect for it, because, like, they're killing it, honestly. Like, we love to see indie games succeed, but, like... I know why people like it, like, people really enjoy it for, like, the grim-dark aesthetics that it has, but, like, it's a little bit too grim and a little bit too dark for my liking, and that's just purely, like, an aesthetic choice. Like, I think it's great what it's doing. Am I, like, bursting over backwards to, you know, print off models and playing it for myself? No, not really. Like, I enjoy painting funny little green guys. I don't want to paint, like, the giant, bloated, fetid corpse of, like, a reanimated Jesus Christ. It's just an aesthetic thing. You know what I'm saying? But no, I love it. I love the fact that it's flourishing. I love the fact that a lot of people are, you know, loving it as well. I love the fact that the people running the game are like, hey, fucking hyper-religious Christian chuds, this game isn't actually for you. Stop coming into a Discord server. I respect that. I like them for it. I painted 50 Kriegsmen in one sitting once. Monster energy does wonders in high concentrations. That sounds dangerous. I don't think your kidneys like you very much. That's an assumption I'm making about your body. Internet stranger beaten by Batanby. There we go. I find it really hard to focus on, like, painting for long periods of time. I have a little tradition of mine. I would say tradition. I guess it is kind of a tradition. But, like, I've been finding that, like, over the weekends, I really enjoy going out to, my local Warhammer store and, like, using the painting tables they have there. Just so I can paint and get a little bit of social time, you know? I would have done it this weekend as well, but I was like, you know what, I haven't streamed in a while, so I might just, like, throw on a stream in the background and, like, get that done. Also, I'll be going to my local store tomorrow, because they're having a combat patrol, tournament, and I have entered my funny little orcs, so I'm gonna play a competitive game of Warhammer 40,000, and I'm not going to win. I'm gonna try my diddly darndest, but... let's be real. Like, let's be reasonable about my chances here. That being said, it could go well for me. It could potentially go well for me. I don't know. Hot Topic isn't a thing in the UK, so Amazon it is. Yeah, there's an element to that. I didn't have Hot Topic in Australia growing up, and I turned out fine. If I got a monster, I could probably get those 90 Tyranids done by the end of the day. I don't think that's true. No, you'd need a can of Monster, several cans of like contrast or speed paint. I'm still going over your like shopping list of things you will need to consume, by the way. Those aren't like tools. Those aren't painting tools. Those are required nourishment that you need. What am I talking about? Yeah, let's all drink paint. That'll be fun. Didn't I make a video like that one time? Something like that. Oh yeah, now I'm just lathering it in Agrax Earthshade. That is absolutely not coming up on the camera, but I can promise you, the end result is going to look sweet. I do love a shot of speed paint in my whiskey. Shout out to Army Painter for their thick-ass speed paint formulas. I never tried the Army Painter speed paint line. Is it any good? I mean, truth be told, I haven't messed around with contrast paints all that much, like, to begin with. I tried like contrast paints on like my my veteran guard, so like my Kriegsman that I did. And honestly, it was really fun. Like if I didn't have like so many base paints already, I probably would switch to contrast paints. Actually, I don't know if that's true. Like I feel like contrast paints are fun, but I kind of like the bold colors that you get with, like, the, you know, the stock standard base paints. You know what I mean? Like, here, I'll try to pull out some examples and show you what I mean while, I let this guy dry. Because, like, you know, the colors that you have here in this orc, like, they're very bold, they're very blocky, they're very, you know, they're very solid, whereas I feel like on the speed paint ones that I've done before, which is literally just this guy, by the way. He's the only model that I've actually finished with contrast paints in mind. I feel like it's maybe it's just because it's a little bit lighter, it's a little bit more like grainy in terms of like the clothing folds and things like that. I don't know, there's just something I can't quite articulate why, but I think I enjoy base painting more, even though it takes literally twice as long and is 5 times as much effort. But maybe I just like making life hard for myself. Dress as butch as you can for the game, but wear cat ears to confuse your opponents. I have come to play war games and mind games. Nya. Now, I'll probably just wear jeans and a t-shirt because I'm fucking lazy. Ironically, I only dress this way when I don't leave the house. That's kind of like a backwards paradigm when it comes to like, because like normally when you dress up, you're going out. I only dress this way when I'm going to be sitting on this chair for an extended period of time and doing nothing. Nothing. What do you think of the brutal and cunning orcs and rattling designs? I don't know what it was, but I wasn't really gripped by the Breaker Boys. Like I know I'm like a cool orc man. That's a sentence that someone could say with a real human mouth. Like I know that I'm like the orc guy, but like there was something about the Breaker Boys that didn't really grip me. You know what I mean? It's alright, I'll buy them after they've been out for a couple of months and they go on sale. They go on sale, right? Speed paint is basically contrast but cheaper, but a little bit lower quality. Kind of suffers from availability. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what brands of paint are good or not. I just discovered that there's like a local game store that's like 30 minutes up the road from me that like, okay, I thought there was like two kinds of miniature painting brands. There was Citadel and there was Army Painter. And like that was it, right? I went to this fucking place. There are so many more paint brands. Did anybody know about this? There's like 70 different brands of like acrylic paint for miniature painting that you can get. There were paints there that were like shimmering, iridescent, color-changing ones that like change color depending on where the light is. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? This shit got lead in it? Why isn't everyone doing this? Anyway. Long story short, I spent a bunch of money on paint. Again. The god player in me needs those rat legs. Maybe I'm not hooked by the ratlings because they're basically just hobbits, and I kind of have beef with hobbits. I don't know, like what if you just fucking like weirder dwarves? What are you doing? Get your own thing. We already have short guys. I've never seen Lord of the Rings. That's probably where the nostalgia comes from. Ah. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have sculled that, but I did. You didn't check out Vallejo? Honest to God, I thought Army Painter and Vallejo were the same thing until I saw, like, two of their brands side by side, and then immediately I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. Those are two entirely different brands. And I should have known that because their names are entirely different. You know what the problem was? I thought Vallejo, Army Painter, one starts with an A, one starts with a V, and A is kind of just an upside-down V, so because they had the same shape, they occupied the same RAM slots in my brain. That's just how I think. That's not good, and I recognize that. I'm not the biggest fan of ratlings because they die from a slight breeze. I mean, not everything can be a juggernaut powerhouse. Sometimes you just need some funny little guys who are there to get their ass kicked. Same, brain bad too. Bad brain gang, rise up. The bad brain, good. Case in fucking point right there. A being an upside down V is literally orc logic. That's what I'm sticking to, honestly. Actually, should I be putting shade paints on these basing bits before I put, like, the basing cement on there? Ah, it's fine. What's the worst gonna happen? Let's see what we got. During soccer practice in 3rd grade, I accidentally broke someone's skull. Oh, no! Just fucking ran into me. Good grief. I mean, I think that's the ultimate testament to your bone structure. If someone can just, like, run headlong into you, and they're the ones that die, good job. Good job on the bones. Good job on the bones, honestly. Shout out to Bones. They're the real MVPs of the body. All my homies hate organs. I'm just spouting shit at this point. Honestly, I just need, like, a new internet outlet now that, like, TikTok's going away. Well, it's not going away, but it's going away for some people. And that's, you know, a problem for those people. It feels so weird, like, watching TikTok now that there's just, like, my timeline is literally, like, literally everybody, like, saying their goodbyes. Like, it's a fucking, like, mass funeral. And it's like, huh, this is bizarre, because this doesn't affect me. But also kind of does. Like, what TikToks am I going to get now? Am I just going to get, like, Canadian content creators? Ugh. Unbearable. And better than Australians, at least. Are you going on Red Note? Listen, I'm curious to see what... Listen, I'm curious to see what this whole, like, Red Note thing turns out to be. I think people are just going to be using it for the bit for, like, a week or so, and then not be using it anymore. But I do think it's very funny that the American government tried to, like, ban a Chinese application, and then everybody just ran to another Chinese application. I feel like that sums up the indomitable American spirit. God bless him, honestly. But no, I don't see the need to run off to another short-form video platform, because A, I mean, I'm already on Instagram, and that's bad enough as it is. And two, if you're gonna try and launch a new social media app, you gotta have some, like, you gotta have some real backing behind that. Like, you need to give people a reason to come to you. And as we've seen in the last decade or so, the only major reason people change social media apps is because someone fucked up the existing one so bad that everybody moves to the other one. Like Twitter and Blue Sky. Or Twitter and Threads. Or Twitter and... It's mostly Twitter, let's be real. Most of the mass social media migrations have just been from Twitter to some... Most of the mass social media migrations have literally just been from Twitter to literally anywhere else. Well, that wasn't the first time that happened. Y'all remember when Tumblr shit the bed? Who would have thought that banning pornography would lead to the utter collapse of an entire social media platform? Not me, that's for sure. Sniffing glue is the most underrated part of the hobby. Hell yeah, brother. Hold on. Hold on, where is it? There we go. Bottoms up, gang. Oh, immediate regret. That was just for the bit, and the consequences were immediate and severe. My God. Have you seen Dino Blade? That sounds incredible, but I don't know what that is. It sounds like a YouTuber who was really popular in, like, the early 2000s. It's good YouTuber energy, that name. Get out of here, YouTube user More of Mo. Have a wonderful evening. It's good to have you around. Wasn't Tumblr, like, forced to get rid of the pornography? I mean... Yes, that is true, but it was weird how, like, they were enforced, like, but it was weird how literally, like, only them were enforced. Like, nobody was forcing that on Twitter, you know what I mean? I actually saw there was a write-up that the CEO of Tumblr did, like, in the wake of the, you know, mass Tumblr pornography ban, where he was basically like, yeah, that kind of sucked. Like, we didn't want to do that, but... companies, like, targeted us specifically for some reason. Like, you know, I think it was the credit card companies, like MasterCard and all that shit. They were like, hey, you gotta get rid of the pornography on here. And they were like, hey, Twitter is full of pornography and you're not doing anything about that. And they were like, you gotta get rid of all the pornography on here. And then an entire social media collapsed. I don't know. I just won the funny category of my local shop's paint and take? Hell yes! I don't know what that means, but winning competitions is good in my book. I'm going to imagine that that's some kind of, you know, fun little community, a fun little, like, community award. Like those competitions they do at fairs where you have to guess the amount of jelly beans that are in the jar. I fucking crush those every single time, thanks to my #1 unbeatable strategy of just putting in as many guesses as possible, and just getting them all across the field so at least one of them will be close to correct. That's my secret. Dinoblade is an upcoming video game about dinosaurs and big swords fighting online. I have seen that, actually. I have seen the funny little fighting dinosaur game, and I think it looks rad. I also love how it was just a bunch of, like, you know... Like, wasn't Dinoblade just, like, a bunch of stupid little animations that this guy did because he thought it was cool? And then they got popular online, and then everyone was like, hey, make a full video game. And he's like, alright, bet. I fucking love internet stories like that. I fucking love, like, stupid little jokes that start off as stupid little jokes and then, like, spiral into, like, fucking Kickstarter campaign successes. You know, just a bunch of, like, people, like, palling around and having a good time, and then, whoops, uh-oh, we've made a brand and a company and have now made millions of dollars. You know, like Critical Role, or Exploding Kittens. Or Miss Officer and Mr. Truffles. That was a joke for me. That was my little joke. Dude, what earrings do you have? They look cool. Thank you! These earrings are earrings that I got for Christmas. They were purchased from Hot Topic. That doesn't really give you... It just sort of, like, maximizes me on the screen. It doesn't really... It's kind of the same size, actually. Okay, so we put the shade paints on the thing there. There we go. There's a little bit of lag on my camera, and it's frustrating me. I'm mad! The strat for the guess a number of jelly beans is just eat them all till the answer is 0. But you're not allowed... You can only eat them once you win the competition and get the jar. That's how the fair game works. Idiot. You don't know shit about Fairground Carnival games. Don't step to me. I'll crush you. Wow, that was way meaner than I meant it to be. Ooh. What's wrong with me? Okay. I jumped out a window to get a joke across once. That's what we call committing to the bit, and we love to hear it. I will put my body in physical harm's way just in order to get a joke across. And I have no regrets about that. I don't know why I clicked there. That's just... emphasis! Alright, guys, I'm gonna let you in on a little... I can't fucking talk today. What's wrong with me? Alright, guys, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret right now, okay? I discovered a hobby hack that nobody else has ever talked about before, and I'm gonna tell it to you right now. Null oil? Whack. Don't use it. It's simple, it's easy, but you know what? There's a better alternative, okay? I have learned that if you ever need to use null oil, you should instead use Drakenhof Nightshade. Or Drakenhof. Dragonov. Stroganoff? Hold on, whatever. Whatever the fuck this one is. Whatever the fuck this one is, alright? Drakenhof Nightshade. It's dark, but it's got a little bit of a blue tinge to it. So it can work on all of your like, gunmetals, your greys, everything like that, but it just also gives it that little pop of color. See right there? See right there on the knife blade there? Like, null oil would have just made it, like, grayed out a little bit, but there, that little tinge of blue that you probably can't see properly because my phone camera is shit. And also it keeps changing the colors on my face for some reason as I'm talking, which is really strange and annoying to me, but I'm going to stick with it anyway. But anyway, Drakenhof Nightshade, null oil replacement. That's what we're doing in 2026, okay? Wait, what year is it? A local game store had a Warhammer paint and take over the holidays with 3 categories, technical, creative, and funny. Fuck yes. You know you gotta go for the goof. You gotta tell me what the goof was, though. You gotta tell me what the funny one was. Was it just like a regular Space Marine but painted neon yellow? That's just an Imperial Fist. What am I talking about? They're kind of funny, guys, when you think about it. Like, oh, look at you building walls, castles, and shit. Why are you yellow? I don't know. The tinge of blue is nice, but sometimes you want the null oil darkness. No! Banned. Yes, sometimes you want the dark blacks and everything like that, but for me, who likes to use, like, little pops of color and things like that, I've really been having a lot of fun with Drakenhof Nightshade. And I'm not going to pronounce it the same literally any time I talk about it, so that's just something we're all going to have to get used to. What's your opinion on Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman on Marvel Rivals? Okay, so here's the thing, right? You've asked an oddly specific question. I love the Fantastic Four, mostly because I think they're the stupidest thing on the planet. I love that they exist. But the more you think about it, the stupider it gets. Like, here's what I love, right? I love the fact that everybody who is a fan of Marvel talks about Doctor Doom like he's the fucking biggest villain in the history of time, right? Like, everyone's like, yeah, Doom is unbeatable, he's like the top tier villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, him being in the movies is gonna be like the biggest revolution in cinematic history. His main beef, his number one adversary in the history of comics is fucking Plastic Man. You're telling me that the giant robot fucking evil guy, who, by the way, like, what is his powers even? Like, what is his powers? He's just evil. Like, that's all he is. Like, he's got a robot face, but he's not a robot. But he has, like, green energy powers sometimes. Like, his whole thing is that he's just evil, okay? Doctor Doom is just evil. That's it. Like, it's not that complex. He doesn't have that much going for him. He's just an evil guy, and also is the president of somewhere, I think. I don't know. But the point is, his main adversary is literally a rubber man. He is beefing with Stretch Armstrong, and he's the criminal mastermind that's gonna lead the MCU into the peak of cinema? I don't think so. You're beefing with a Stretch Armstrong, my guy. Like, what are you doing? So why is the Thing called the Thing? Like, there's other big rock dudes. The Fantastic... Like, their name is the Fantastic Four. Like, that is children's book material. And it is being played super seriously in, like, every Marvel thing ever. And you know what? I love that. I love that. I love it. Gold. I love them. Some guy got banned at my local store for painting Nazi Space Marines. Hard pivot, but I agree. That they should be banned. That they should be banned. Not that they should be painting Nazi Space Marines. That's... Ugh. That's why I always have to caveat. Whenever I talk about Warhammer, the thing that I always say is that you can paint your models whatever color scheme you want. You don't have to go by the lore, the canon, anything like that. You can paint your models however you like. Unless you're playing Guard, in which case you cannot paint them red and black. That's the only stipulation. The only one. The models came in a standard sheet that you had to cut the parts out and assemble. I painted mine while it was still in the sheet, then I decided... I painted on the sheet. Wow, I cannot read today. Oh, you painted while I was still on the sheet. That's creative. That's clever. That's clever. Doctor Doom is simultaneously the best and worst villain name. Yeah, it's like, he's just evil. Like, that's his whole deal. Like, he's John Evil Guy. He's Duke Badman. Like, he's Captain Cruel. Which I think is actually the name of another villain out there. Don't hold me to that. What color should I paint my nails next? Pink, magenta, or purple? Do it pink. Go full into it. I haven't had my nails be, like, a light color in a very long time. Well, I haven't had them painted in a very long time, actually. I want to go at, like... The reason I haven't, like, re-upped my nails in a little bit... some of them are a little yellow. I should probably get that checked. But, like, I want to go have an appointment to actually get my nails, like, did. Like, go to a nail salon and, like, make a day of it. You know what I mean? So, I'm just kind of letting these wear out. So I can actually go and do some fun things with them later on. Wow, this, the shade paint that I did on this, like, rebar is, like, really glunky for some reason. Which I guess is fine, because it's supposed to be, like, it's just, like, the basing bits and, like, scrap and all that, so, you know what I mean. I always destroy my nails, so they usually look like shit. I mean, Painting nails is hard, you know? Some people, like, this is something that I think that we don't really, like, take into consideration, is that, like, painting nails is actually, like, way more difficult than we give it credit for. Like, there's, like, a technique to it. You've got to, like, use the right amount of polish, and you've got to, like, do the brushwork and everything. Like, painting Warhammer is fine, but painting nails? Difficult. Like, I didn't realize, like, how difficult painting nails actually was until I got my... until my partner offered to do, my left hand. Because I was painting my nails, and I was able to paint my left hand, because I'm right-handed, but when it came to painting the nails on my right hand, she was like, oh, let me do that for you, because I can do it with my dominant hand, and it'll be easier. And I was like, that's so sweet of you, like, that's such a nice gesture. I love this woman. She's great, she's my world, she's my everything. She did the most dog shit nail coat I've ever seen in my entire life. I love her deeply, and she's a very creative person, and I'm so proud of all her accomplishments. But she basically, like, took a splotch of nail polish, and then was just like... and, like, absolutely coated my fingers down to the nail bed. And I was like, huh, you've never done this before, have you? And then she was like, no, actually. And we're both realizing this right now. God, I love her. I still laugh about that. You can literally be an artist for a living and still have difficulty painting nails, because it's hard. Painting nails feels like Warhammer, but your brush is shit and the canvas is annoying and moving. Yeah, and it smells bad and it's made of skin. Gross. Okay, I'm just going back doing a second layer of the greens, just so I can get everything nice and green there. His face has got some I feel like the green is pooling really weirdly over this orc's face. I don't know what it is. I think it's because he's got like a lot of flat surface on the side of his chin. The side of his face, rather. Painting on skin sounds like a Slanesh thing. I think you've just discovered getting tattoos. I think that's what that is. People have been painting on their skin since the dawn of time, my friend. We've just given it a funny little name. Tattoo. I'm being cruel and unusual. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, God. Yeah, some of the shade paint's definitely pooling pretty weird. I think this isn't the best, like, shade job that I've ever done. But you know what? I'm gonna make the most of it, I think. I'm, like, jittery now. What the fuck? Yeah, I think I needed to, like, mix up my paints a little bit more. The shade paint. Yeah, just gotta, like, dab it a little bit to make sure that, like... Because, like, you just want to make sure that the shade paint, like, pools properly, because you don't want to get, like, weird little spots where there's, like, way too much in one place, and then, like, nothing anywhere else. Let's make sure I get under the chin as well, because that's always where I forget. I always forget to paint under the orc's chin. I don't know why that's my, like, no-go zone, but every time. Always, like, under there. I always forget to do it. Like, literally, like, half of the half-painted orcs that I have on my shelf are just completely grey under here. Like, I completely miss out. I just completely miss it. I don't know why. Because the weird thing is that because I always forget to paint underneath the orc's chin, you'd think that I would remember that. Like, the fact that I never paint underneath the orc's chin would mean that it's top of mind when I'm painting, the fact that I always forget it, and that would drive me to do it. But the weird thing is that I always think about the fact that I always forget to paint underneath the orc's chin, but then I don't do it. I think I have a neurological affliction of some kind. I'm not entirely sure. Alright. Just need to do a little bit more. A little bit more Agrax, because I forgot to do the Agrax Earthshade on, like, his gun. And then I should be able to let him dry for a little bit. I was watching a thing about Jim Henson, and he was giving a demonstration on puppet making, and towards the end he casually mentions, and give them a splorch of hair. And the presenter asked him what a splorch was, and he said, oh, it's a technical term. That man was lying through his teeth, but in doing so created the terminology for something. See, this is what you have to think about. Every, like, word that we have ever invented in the English language has just been a thing somebody has made up. You know, it's kind of like how Gary Larson, creator of the hit comic series The Far Side, invented the phrase thagomizer. Because he made a stupid joke on one of his one-panel comics one time, and then scientists realized, oh, we don't actually have a name for, like, the spiky tailbone on a stegosaurus's tail. So that's a thagomizer now. What's your favorite Warhammer video game, by the way? A big and good question. I mean, to me, like, obviously Space Marine 1 holds a soft place in my heart, because that was the first, like, Warhammer thing that I ever saw, you know? It's the reason why my Orc's color scheme is, like, bronze and yellow, because all of the Orcs in Space Marine 1 were, like, you know, covered in brown leather rags. Well, not rags, but I don't know, whatever this is. So that one definitely has a special place in my heart, because that sort of dictated, you know, the color scheme for the army that I paint and play to this day. But outside of that, honestly, I'd probably say Rogue Trader, because I am still having such a fun time playing Warhammer 400,000 Rogue Trader, which I think is interesting, because whenever I play video games, I always think to myself, who would I recommend this to? And I cannot think of a single person that I would recommend Warhammer 400,000 Rogue Trader to, because that person is me. Rogue Trader was, like, literally just made for me. Like, it's literally like playing through a Black Library audiobook. Warhammer Rogue Trader is literally like playing through a Black Library book, both in the sense that it is a very well written and produced Warhammer story, and also because there's so many fucking words you need to read. And I love the books, I love the lore, I love, like, reading the story. Everything from just, like, the way they carry their narratives to the flouncy, like, quasi-Latin language that they use. Like, I love that shit about Warhammer, and Rogue Trader is literally just that. Like, you're living inside a Warhammer book. And honestly, better than sex. But also, because of that, I don't, like, there's nobody in my life that I would recommend the game to. Because it's so, like, no gamer that I know wants to read that many words. Or if they do want to read that many words, they're not playing the Warhammer game, they're playing obscure Japanese visual novels, which is literally just pressing A to get to the next dialogue scene until the game is over. So I feel desperately lonely in my love for Rogue Trader, because it's like, this game is great, and I have no one to talk about it, and I never will. Yeah. Rogue Trader equals valid. Yes! The internet validation that I crave. Okay, I just needed to... I just need to get, like, a little bit of Agrax Earthshade onto his gun here. I did that thing that I always do, where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put, like, a little bit of shade paint on this thing. I'm not going to coat the entire thing in this one color. Oops, it's covered. Now I need to finish the job. And then I just need to put the shade paints on his boots, and then I'm all good. Mine's a Dawn of War with the Ultimate Apocalypse mod. Hell yes. I don't know what that mod is, and I only have a vague understanding of what Dawn of War is, but you're so fucking valid for that. I never really tried Dawn of War. Like, I know that it obviously holds, like, a special place in gaming history, and especially Warhammer gaming history, but it's one of those games that's so old that I've always had trouble running it on, like, actual modern computers. Like, right now I have a Steam Deck, so that's just, like, out of the fucking question, right? Like, the Steam Deck only runs the things that it wants to run, and if you try to run something outside of its parameters, it's like, hey, I'm made of Linux, fuck you. Deletes your entire account. But even back when I had, like, a regular gaming computer, I swear to God, every time I tried to run Warhammer 40,000, Dawn of War 2, Revengeance, whatever the weird expansion one was with the fucking Chaos Space Marines, it wouldn't do it. Like, it either would crash on startup, it would get to the main menu and just not let me do anything, or it would have these, or it would be, like, stretched this thin and just be entirely unplayable. I've never been able to run the game properly without any errors. I think I'm just cursed, honestly. I have a shitty PC, so it's the only game that I could run. Yeah, I feel like it's one of those old games that, you know, did not age well in the sense that, like, modern hardware has no fucking idea what to do with it. And it's like, what the hell? This game was built for, like, Windows XP. Like, what are these runtimes? What are these procedures? Like, what the fuck do we do here? Kit bashing 2 orcs kissing when? Well, it's on the list now. Good God. How would you even do that? Like, what model kits could you put together to make 2 orcs kiss? Hold on, let's really think about this. Let's go down the line. Meganobz are too static. Like, they only go together one way in a very flat pose. So you're not gonna get any passion or intimacy out of that. Let's think. Maybe the Storm Boys, because they're very, like, animated and they're very, like, expressive in the way that their models are. So maybe there's a way that you could put them together where they're, like, leaning forward with, like, mouth open like that, like they're about to... That would do it. That would do it, actually. I feel like I can picture the 2 kits from the Storm Boys set. Like, one where his head's like, ah, and another one where his head's like, argh. And if you, like, put those together just right, then you might be able to, like, make them look like they're just about to kiss. I think it can be done. I think it can be done. Anyway, moral of the story, if somebody buys me a box of Storm Boys right now, I will make that happen. Orc Cat Boys when? Well, now that's another matter entirely. That's just any orc set that you can modify to put ears on. Which now I can do because I have green stuff. That's right, I got some green stuff for Christmas, and I have no idea how it works, but I'm excited to learn. I've tried a little bit with green stuff. Where is it? Here. I'll go full screen for this. That's not the button I wanted to press. There. That's not the button I wanted to press either. That's the one. I did, let's see. Oh, no, that's... I've got a mini camera right here. What the fuck am I doing? But I tried experimenting with some green stuff to make this cape for like this orc warboss that I was putting together. Because fun fact, you can't buy a warboss model just like flat by itself anymore. The model is so old that like every store is sold out of it. So I instead decided to kit bash some new warboss models using some Urok brutes from Age of Sigmar, with a bunch of like leftover, chain blade pieces from some other orc models, and I green stuffed a little cape together. And I know it's not the best looking cape, but I'm also very proud of it, and I thought it was very creative. And here's another one that I have lying around. I lied, I don't have it lying around. No, wait, yes I do. Ow. Here's my other one. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a hair on him, get out of there. But yeah, I basically use green stuff to, like, mold the basic shape of the cape, and then I just sort of, like, covered it in plastic glue to, like, harden it up. Wow, it looks, like, super janky, before it's, like, primed and everything like that. But once you put, like, a coat of primer on it, it's, like, a solid color anyway. So, yeah, I've had a lot of fun experimenting with green stuff, and I'm very much looking forward to keep doing that. Because I got green stuff. It's me just showing off the cool toys that I got for Christmas. I use green stuff to repair my headphones, it's great. The fact that we just have, like, cool plastic tools now is awesome. Like, this little, like, ring light that I have up here, that, I completely lost my train of thought. This little, like, ring light that I have up here that I'm using to, like, illuminate my face, its on button got stuck, and I managed to drill it out with the drill that I have that I do not use to drill my barrel holes, that people literally bought me on the internet so I could drill my barrel holes, and now I just refuse to do so. We just have tools, we can fix things, we can, like, fuck around with stuff, and I think that's pretty neat. Eat the green stuff. I shan't. Can I? I shouldn't. Are you planning on opening a Discord sometime? Technically, I already do have a Discord. It's in the link that I have in my bio. It's got a link to a little Discord server that I put together. I constantly forget to check it because I'm the worst at keeping up with social media, which is ironic considering I'm me. But yeah, I do have a little Discord server where people post their Warhammer miniatures that they're working on. That's really all that I use it for. Like, I'll go in from time to time and see the cool stuff that people are painting and go like, neat. So yeah, I do have a Discord server. It is 18 plus, not because there's any adult stuff in there, but because I don't want to communicate directly with children on the internet. That's just a personal thing. Like, I know that, people under the age of 18 are out there on the internet and, everything like that, but I feel like keeping the Discord server 18 plus is just, like, a more comfortable move. Because I feel like it gives a lot of, like, very direct access to me, like, it's a very sort of, like, closed circuit space, and, like, I enjoy, like, interacting with people, in public internet settings. Like, literally, I just use the Discord to fucking share minis and things like that. I might just look at other people's minis. People do some good stuff. Pro tip, when you're losing a game of Warhammer, just eat your opponent's minis. I will take that into consideration. I've got a game slated for tomorrow, so that might be the winning thing that I need. Alright, I'm going to take a very quick 2-minute break. I'm going to get a drink and some water, and I'll be back in just a second. Your boy needs to hydrate. BRB. Many people have been quick to tell me that my custom Space Marine lore is quote-unquote non-canonical or simply too silly. With that in mind, I've decided to make a pivot to a faction that uncharacteristically allows Warhammer fans to have a good time. The Orcs. This is Pots and Pans, an orc who learned everything he knows about torture from the study of human texts. These books turned out to be cookbooks, basically making him a big green version of the dwarf from Dungeon Meshi. This is Pincushion, who got his name for obvious reasons. When his comrades don't feel like holding a knife or a war trophy, they'll simply stab it into the back of his flesh, knowing full well it'll be there when they go to check on him later. This is Warboss Wreck Havoc, spelled the way you think it is. He's never lost a hand-to-hand fight with his iconic bomber hammer, but he's also never fought one with it either. Despite this, he's confident that he can win 100% of the fights he wages with this weapon. Technically, he's correct. It appears that my loyal viewers have found some entertainment with my custom orc lore, and now the good people are yearning for more. Fortunately for you, more is a trademark of orcish physiology. More bodies, more violence, more Dakar. This is Kingpin, whose original warboss once bore a mighty iron crown. Kingpin decided to one-up him with a mighty crown of his own, and he can only assume the warboss... I lied, I didn't get anything to drink, I got something to eat instead. That was so cold. That was so stupid. Did you know you can just buy 3 hard-boiled eggs in a bag, and they can send them to your house and you can just eat them? I did not know this. It's become my new favorite thing. You do not understand how much I love that you can just have a bunch of hard-boiled eggs in your house that you can eat at any time. I don't like the fact that the bags of hard-boiled eggs that you can buy are like $6 for 6 eggs, so I'm going to carve out 2 hours of every Sunday going forward, which I have now described as egg time, to pre-hard-boil a bunch of eggs for my week ahead. It's going to take me a little bit of time, but it's going to set me up with a very egg-filled week. And that's the thing that I think will fix my mental health. Bought my first couple of orcs? Hell yes! YouTube user Nepalese Jesus, I'm very happy for you. I love orcs. I have found that orcs aren't really, like, that popular. At least in my travels. Like, I feel like everybody who I've met, at least locally, who's been, like, super into Warhammer, have not really been orc players. Like, I've only ever seen one out in the wild. I have seen more Tau players than I have orc players, and that doesn't make sense to my tiny little ape brain. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like orcs should be more popular than Tau, but I think I might be wrong. I have once again underestimated the cultural chokehold that anime has in our society. Hydration is important, brother. Hell yeah, brother. This shit's full of Sprite. And I'm actually going to do some fucking painting now. This little guy is, like, almost... This little guy is, like, almost ready to be, shaded, I guess is the word that I would use. But I just need to do a couple more layers on, like, the yellow here. I don't know why, but I never succeed when it comes to painting yellow. Like, I always get it either too thick or too thin. I can never get it the right consistency. It always comes off my brush weird, and it always leaves a fuck ton of streaks. And yet, for some reason, I have decided to make yellow a very important primary color in the orcs that I paint. Like, it's their main accent color, so I cannot escape painting it. I am in a hell of my own design, and I have nobody to blame but myself for that. Tau attracted the weeb community, and the rest of us play Space Marines because I like Space Knights. I mean, honestly, good for them. I like the Tau. I like the fact that they're there. I will likely never paint one myself, but I enjoy the fact that they are a collectible faction for the people who enjoy that. The Burner that Burner Boy is looking great. I'm excited for the Emperor's Children models. Oh god, the Emperor's Children models. I really like the Emperor's Children full stop. Like, ever since I read the Fulgrim novel in the Horus Heresy series, I was like, ah yes, these are my sons. They're all failures, but I love them. It's like, ever since that day, I was like, if I was to play Chaos, I would play Emperor's Children. Like, that sort of sealed the deal for me, reading that book. I just think Fulgrim's a really interesting character. His whole thing is like, I'm perfect all the time. But by doing so is a fail man of his own design. So look at that. Here's the Emperor's... Here's my Emperor's Child that I painted under this horrible lighting and camera condition. God, he is way more red in that camera than I had anticipated. Also, it's mirrored, so it looks weird. But yeah, I just want to paint some fucking hot pink Chaos Space Marines, so that's my steez. My buddy said that an orange undercoat helps with getting a good finish for yellow. Yeah, that sounds like a smart thing to do. I am not that. I might have to sell my kidney for Warhammer this year. Yeah, either that or pictures of your balls or something, I don't know. Every time a new, like, Warhammer set comes out that looks really good, the tiny little part of my shitty little 8 brain goes like, that guy who keeps DMing you about your feet could pay for this. He could. And that's just an option that I know that I have. Yeah, so anyway, if I just show up with the Emperor's Children box and won't tell you where I got the money from, I want to paint Loyalist Emperor's Children, like that. I like their theme. Yeah, they got a good theme. When I started painting my Emperor's Children Chaos Space Marine models that somebody got me for my birthday, I completely forgot what, like, the actual color of the Emperor's Children were. I was just like, yeah, it's kind of pink, right? So I immediately started painting my Emperor's Children hot pink before realizing that the actual pink that the Emperor's Children use is, like, a lilac pink or, like, a really pale purple pink kind of thing. So now I'm stuck with a bunch of, like, half-painted Chaos Space Marines that are just all hot pink. I'm not complaining about that, by the way. I'm just explaining the situation I found myself in. Are people low-key DMing you about your feet? It's only one. Like, I know it's just the one guy. And you know what? If you're an internet personality, everybody gets one at one point. Everybody gets one. Like, you have a foot guy, and then it's all fun and games, and then they DM you something that's, like, a little bit too risque and pushing the boundary, and then I'm like, oh, this isn't fun anymore. I liked you better when you were I liked you better when you were complimenting my shoes. Like, sending me a reel that uses the phrase gooning as part of the primary crux of the joke. Like, that's... I don't know. Inspired by real events? Who's to say? I mean, Fulgrim also had the saddest bromance with Ferris. Makes me cry every time. Oh yeah, that's fucking tragic. Like, that is... oof. Rough stuff. You know what I have always thought? And I've told people this, and they've told me that there is absolutely no reason that I should think this. I have always imagined Fulgrim and Ferrus Manus as Waluigi and Wario, respectively. Like, that's just the body types those characters, like, appear in my mind as. To me, Ferrus Manus is like a short and stocky, basically dwarf man, discounting the fact that he's a Primarch and is canonically, like, 12 feet tall or fucking whatever. And Fulgrim is this, like, tall, lanky thing that everyone's really horny for some reason that I can't quite understand. That's just how they appear in my head as. That's just how they appear. Personally, the Royal Purple from the Emperor's Children pre-Heresy is my favorite Space Marine scheme. That is a very good scheme. I do enjoy that a lot as well. Then again, my favorite color is purple, so I'm kind of biased. Can you imagine being a Marine during that battle and seeing your Primarch sitting on the ground mournfully holding the head of his closest brother on the edge of tears? Hey, shut up! Don't do this to me. I'm wearing eyeliner. Not mascara, though. I forgot to do that. Can I start putting shade paint on this? I think I can. Actually, no, I've just got the fire at the end there that I need to do something like this. As a boy kisser can confirm, Fulgrim is hot. I mean, he's a pretty man, as depicted in art. I don't know, I just can't get the Waluigi comparison out of my head, so it's like, to me, Fulgrim is like a little bit cartoony. And I know that's entirely a me thing. How do I paint fire? Okay, I think I'm just going to give it like a bit of a red base coat, and then I can like build up from there. Oh god, that tasted so much like egg. Yuck. Hated that. There we go. Yes, I'm just gonna start a little bit. Yes, I'm just gonna do a little bit of red. Trying to get him centered. I can never center these guys on the camera because they're always like... That's a little too watery. I can never get these guys centered on the camera right because they're always like, brain not turning on. Because the camera's mirrored. The camera's flipped. Also, my hands are really jittery because I sculled that coffee from my grommet mug just before. Okay, there we go. There we go. Satellite radio. You're getting hit with the boom boom. Yeah, I'm gonna like paint this red, and then I'm just gonna do like orange and yellow highlights up there. Do you prefer your eggs regular or the fetus still in it? That's an insane thing to say. Is that a sex thing? Are you sexting me? You cannot break the sanctity of egg time, okay? I enjoy my eggs. That's all there is to it. One day I should collect all of the plastic Primarchs if I win the lottery. If I won the lottery, you wouldn't know, but there would be signs. I mean, how many plastic Primarchs are there right now? Like, there's... I mean, I think there's all the Chaos ones at this point. And then there's, like, what? Fucking... Gilliman and Lionel Johnson. Are there any more than that? Who am I forgetting? Obviously, we got Fulgrim, we got Magnus, we got Mortarion. And whoever the fucking World Eaters one is. Angron! The angry one. fucking love Angron, by the way, like... Perfect name choice. You, my son, Fulgrim, will embody the human spirit of perfection. And you, my son, Horus, will embody the human spirit of ambition, and never once consider betraying me. And Angeron, my guy, you're just gonna be mad as shit all the time. You're gonna be pissed as hell, my guy. Wow, my hands are shaking. What the fuck is up with that? I'm just gonna be mad as hell. I'm gonna name you John Angryman. Because I hate you. You're my son. God, I need a better webcam. God, I need a better setup. I'm filming my face on a fucking, like, a laptop webcam that keeps making me blue and orange for some reason. Ah, well. I'm trying my best. And that's what matters. I don't even have the mini on camera. What am I doing? Do you have any interest in collecting old Warhammer miniatures? Right now, my main goal is to, like... My main goal right now is to paint to play. But, like... Yes, I want to paint to... Like, I want to play the actual game of Warhammer, which, I mean, I guess sort of restricts me to more modern miniatures. I guess you can still use a lot of older miniatures, though. Although, like, I do think a lot of the older miniatures are kind of crunky looking. Like, I like the way that the new miniatures look. You know what I mean? I think it's more... I enjoy the new miniatures more. I feel like I could have a good time, like, painting older miniatures as, like... See, the thing about painting older miniatures to me is that I wouldn't really care... That's just... Wait, hold on, that sounds like I'm an asshole. I wouldn't respect older miniatures enough to want to paint them. Like, to me, I feel like I would get the same amount of enjoyment painting a brand new Warhammer miniature as I would painting a vintage classic that's worth $500 on eBay because they're super rare at this point in time. But I know that somebody out there would really, really, really love to paint the older Warhammer miniature. So for me, someone who doesn't really care about vintage things or collecting or legacy or things like that, I would get the same amount of enjoyment painting a new model as I would an old model. And because of that, I feel like if I painted an old model, the only thing going through my mind would be like, somebody would absolutely love to do this, and I am taking that experience from them. And I would enjoy that partly, because I'm an asshole. But after that's done, I would feel a little bad. I want to eat old lead models. Fuck yes, John Warrior, you do that. This is not illegal condoning, don't do that under any circumstances. Any consequences for taking that action cannot be held liable to Ethan Cat Enterprises or Industries, blah, 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 TLC. Eep. Angron is kinda daddy. That's... Man's barbed. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Dude's got fucking spikes. He's made of fire. He's burning alive. Angron was meant to be a healer / support Primarch, but was forced into a DPS role. Wow, I understand his character so much fucking more now. I get it now. It all makes sense. But lead tasty? No, don't eat lead. We've been over this. It's a bad idea. You're gonna get sick, and I'm gonna be held liable. I don't know what that was. Oh, wow. Alright. Let's get it started in here. Which is definitely the real and original lyrics of that Black Eyed Peas song. actually, fuck. No, I've still got a couple little, like, tiny details that I still need to paint brown on this guy. Literally, I took, like, one look at the model, and I was like, you are 90% done, but there's some little tiny tweaks that I could make, that if I don't make, I will be super aware of that for the rest of my life. Ugh. Means I gotta bust out my new paints. Another benefit is you can seriously hurt your opponent by throwing a metal vehicle at them. I guess that's a strategy. Yo, speaking of big metal vehicles, though, check this shit out. Check this shit out, man. There's no way this is gonna fit on my mini camera, so I don't think I can, like, properly show this off, but, like... Yeah! Dackerjet, baby! It's done! Got, like, a cool base and everything. I can, like, cram it in as a gooch. Yeah, look at that! This is literally, like, the biggest model that I've ever finished. And I'm so proud of it. Like, look at that! It's got, like, look at that! Ah! Meow. Meow. Everybody says that I built the worst plane variant. But you know what? I don't give a shit, because this thing shoots so many fucking bullets that it doesn't matter if it can't kill anything in one shot. It has 70 shots. And it can only kill things in 140 shots, but still. Now build the towers. Yeah, I'm just gonna on my fucking, like, on my fucking display piece, there's just gonna be, like, a Dackerjet going into 2 big Ed boss bunkers. Don't clip that. That being said, I do want a big Ed boss bunker, though. Like, that's... I know that's probably stupid, because I don't think... I think it's kind of counterintuitive to, A, play the orcs, and, 2, have a fortification piece. But I do like the idea of having a big Ed boss bunker. It's just so fucking stupid. It's stupid and I want it. That's all that matters. A big Ed boss bunker. Right, I just need to do, like... I just need to paint a little bit of brown detailing on this guy. And, like, I can tell that it's... God, it's... The details are so minute. Like, I'm literally painting, like, dark brown over deep black, so it's probably not even going to show up on the camera. But if I don't do this, it's all I'm gonna be able to focus on. Because, like, you see his, like, gas mask thing is, like... It's the light brown, and then it's got, like, the solid brown around the visor. And so I just need to extend that down to his little mouthpiece, too. So it blends into the underside of the chin properly. Because, again, it's all just tiny little details that nobody but me is gonna pay attention to. But if I don't do them, I'm gonna be furious at myself. Which means I'm not going to be able to put shade paints on him for a while because he has to dry again. I like making life harder for myself. I mean, you got the Aegis defense line for my guard. I don't know why. And this is how I know that something is going on in my brain. Because I have always wanted to build and paint an Aegis defense line. I don't play guard. But for some reason, it's been a model kit that I've always wanted. Like, I looked into the logistics of building an Aegis defense line and, like, running it with my Space Marines. And I'm just sort of sitting here like, that's a crazy thing to do. Like, that's an Imperial Guard piece. Like, that has nothing to do with the Space Marines. But I want it. Like, do I just want to paint terrain? I have terrain here that I haven't painted. Like, what's going on with me? Stop making Orc 9/11 jokes. I'm not going to be able to read them out. That's why I don't have chat up on my UI. Also, I don't know how to do that on YouTube streams, so that's primary reason. All right. A little bit of brown in his bits. Now I'll just let him dry off for a little bit. No more Orc 9/11 jokes. What if I want to cut this down and use it for bits later? There's going to be like half of it I'm not going to be able to do anything with. Evil. Evil. Okay, you! My custom Warboss. You I can probably do some shading on. Yeah, you're ready to shade. This guy's ready to shade right here. But first, a little hydration break. I'm out of Sprite. I'm gonna need one of you to grab me another one. Stupid. Okay. This guy is going to be fun to shade because he is so muscly, and all of that shade paint is just going to, like, seep into those muscle bits. Ooh. You're all going to hell. Alright. Where's my stupid little shading brush that doesn't quite work well? There it is. That's what I want. I love the shade painting process because it's literally just like me lathering on fucking like watery paint. There's like almost no way to fuck it up. That's a lie, I can fuck it up. Like if the shade paint pools in a way that you don't like, you are just kind of screwed. There we go. There we go. See, the only bad thing about shade paints for me is that, like, once I start lathering, boy howdy, I gotta keep going. Because, like, if I let that shit dry... Because that's what I always do. Like, I always let, like, a chunk of the shade paint dry, and then I, like, go back in to, like, try to smooth it out a little more. And then it does that weird thing where it, like, goops up a little bit of, like... the fucking... It goops up a little bit of the shade paint in such a way that is, like, absolutely irreversible and, like, impossible to fix. You know what I mean? You know what happens when you goop it? When you gooch the shade paint? That makes sense, right? I'm making sense? I'm probably not. Okay. I also gotta tell myself that, like, okay, while I'm shading it, it's gonna look a little bit crunky. It's gonna look a little bit weird. But when it dries out, everything all evens out and it's good. Yeah, don't worry about the chat, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I do not condone what's happening in there. Okay. Whew. I gotta start thinking about, like, strategies for my upcoming Combat Patrol tournament. Because, like, I've played 40k, but I haven't ever played, like, Combat Patrol before. And, like, I know... get out of here. YouTube user beaten by... Have a wonderful evening. I will have more egg. Thank you. Oh god, I need to keep this thing fucking centered. Moving it around too much. Shade paint is too scary. I need to have my hand held. It's relaxing. It's fun. But I do get what you mean. Like, there is always that tiny little part of you that's just like, oh, I'm just like I've spent so long, like, doing the shade paint. I spent so long putting these base paints down, and now I'm just literally just, like, drooling all over that with, like, a green slime. And it feels like you can fuck it up. And you can. Get out of here. It's just a thing that I say. I'm always telling people to get out of here. Get out of here, you. Oh yeah, the green shade paint really pulls around his pecs. Like, look at that. It's like right between the titties. Yes, I know he has weird, like, divot nipples. He was supposed to have stuff, like, on his nipples that... He was supposed to have, like, armor on his nipples, but I just didn't do that because I'm using it to kit bash. This is a fantasy model that I've kit bashed into being a spaceman. I'm a spaceman, got a rocket on my back. Haha, clips. No! The long-form consequences of the things that I say on the internet forever. Who could have anticipated this? Not I, that is for sure. Okay, let's see. Just need to make sure it doesn't pool in too deep. Any of y'all checked out Squid Game? It's this cool show. I started watching it last night. It's crazy. You didn't add nipple rings on the orc. I did not add nipple rings on the orc, and you know what? That is my bad. I didn't have green stuff before I, like, started priming this guy. Like, I sort of jumped the shark a little bit. So you know what? I probably should have, like, fabricated some manner of, like, nipple adornment. Now he just sort of has... Well, I mean, okay, I say that, but, like, the way that the shade paint has pooled on his torso, it's kind of given him nipples. Like, he's got the 2 dots there. Because, like, really? Because, like, there's supposed to be, like, some, like, armor things that, like, slots into his chest, so he just sort of had 2 holes where his nipples were. But now that the shade paints are sort of pooling in there, that's areolas, baby. Squid Games. Yo, straight up, I started watching Squid Games with my partner last night, and she looked me dead in the eye, said Squid Games, and she looked at me like she had just invented comedy gold, and she was like, you should use that. You should make a TikTok about that. Everyone's gonna laugh and think it's really funny. And I was like, haha, probably. Nipple tassels would be funny. That's just a true statement regardless of the context. Like, sure, putting, like, using some green stuff to, like, make some, like, long braided nipple tassels on this, like, big crunky Warboss man, that would be funny. But nipple tassels are just funny in general. This boy nipped up on a Sunday morning. I mean, honestly, who isn't? Me, because it's a Saturday. Fucker. Like, smudge that? Okay, I think the first layer of green is more or less done there. Probably want to let that dry before I go too hard on anything else. Because when it comes to shade paints, I always try to put another layer of shade on it too soon. And, like, Yeah, then you get the weird, like, marks across it, which I was talking about before. I'm repeating myself. 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 What was that? It's not a bit. That was stupid. That was stupid what I did. Okay, I don't know what planet I'm on. Where am I? Brown! That's the color that I need. Okay. Actually, no, I will start with brown. I was tossing up whether to, like, shade the sort of, like, brown armor components that he has, or, like, the cape on the back. But I think once I shade the cape on the back, I'm gonna need to, like, lay him down for a good long while. Let's see, where are we at? Okay. Does your partner play Warhammer with you? No, she doesn't. Because she doesn't appreciate true games. I don't know why I said that. My beautiful partner has put it on record many times that she thinks Warhammer is deeply ugly. And she has said she would be happy to play... My partner has told me that she would be happy to paint and play Warhammer with me if there was a faction that she designated to be, and I quote, not ugly. And I was like, hey, look at some of these things. Like, you know, you've got like the, you know, like not everything is like crunky demons and like weird like fucking orcs or whatever. Like the Battle Sisters are very like sleek, very clean, very like, you know, many would describe them as pretty looking. And she's like, no, they got those fuck ass bobs. I hate them. So long story short, no, my partner does not play Warhammer with me, and I don't think she will. I told her she can paint models in the Lisa Frank art style as much as she wants, but you need a little bit more than that. Has she seen The Elder? That's what I keep saying. But she also looks at them and goes, no, they're ugly as well. Which, to be fair, they do got very long faces. Those things are long. Look at the weird little, like, cone heads. You can show her Emperor's Children. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I'm going to show the woman who thinks that, you know, the Battle Sisters have fuck ass bobs. I'm going to show them the fucking mutant monsters that the Emperor's Children got going on. I don't think the Battle Sisters are very visually appealing, but I do agree that this fuck-ass thing with the DJ mouth gun is right up my alley. Not gonna happen. I saw Girly Pop Towel last night. It was the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen. Yo, I love that. There is an account that... there's an account that popped up on my TikTok feed recently. Rest in peace. That was basically just, like, bubblegum Space Marines. And they were really well done. Like, absolutely could not give you the, person's username that it was, because I cannot remember these things to save my fucking life. But, like, they were painting, like, hot pink bubblegum Space Marines. And, you know what? I was like, damn, these colors are really popping. Like, they're gooshin'. I could eat that fucking thing. That's right, I'm the kind of streamer who tries to visually describe things that exist that I could very easily bring up and show you, but I'm not gonna do that. Because I'm lazy, and don't know how to make my stream do that. Introduce it with the felonids. Introduce it with the felonids. They don't have any models. They're like the cat boys, right? My old Stormcasts were bright silver, pink, and teal. Hell yeah! I do love a good hot pink model. That's why I won the Emperor's Children. Listen, all I'm saying is that if every one of you pitches in $5, I will be able to afford the Emperor's Children Battle Box if you all continuously pledge $5 for the next 5 days. I can send you a pic if you have a Discord. I do have like a little Discord server that I made a while ago that I really should use more this year. I should use my Discord server more this year. I mostly just use it for the channel that people post their minis into, which is like... honestly, all I would probably use it for anyway. I feel like I'm very weird when it comes to, like, interacting online. Like, I'm not that accessible online. Like, people leave me comments and things like that all the time, but sometimes I will just, like, I will post something on the internet, and then I will disappear for, like, 5 days. And then I'll appear back, post something like nothing ever happened, and then I'll disappear again. Here is the process of somebody saying something to me online, in, like, a comment or a DM or something like that. I'll see the notification. I'll get it, I'll read it, I'll internalize it, I'll think to myself, I should think of a response to this because this is a genuine comment and a genuine question. 3 days will pass, I'll think of something to say, and I go, yes, I have a response to this. However, it's been 3 days, and if I respond to it now, I will look insane. So then I just like the comment and never go back to it. Already spent the money on the Krieg box. It's okay, nobody's perfect. I'll just remember this. I gotta stop making internet jokes that have a punchline of "give me money." I do need to make it clear. Anytime I say something like that, it's like, if you give me $5 right now, like, that is always a joke every time. Something about it is just funny to me. Like, I almost made a joke, recently, about a Throne wish list. Because, you know Throne, right? Like, it's that weird, like, little internet service that you can use to, like, send gifts to creators, which 9 times out of 10 is used to, like, you know, send e-girls skimpy outfits and everything like that. I was gonna do a joke where I would set up a Throne wish list, but only use it for boys. Like the orcs, not... Fuck, that was a sentence to say. Like, I would set up a Throne wish list, and the only thing that would be on there would be a set of, like, 10 orc figurines. The irony of it, of course, being that, you know, Throne is a service that is usually used to fucking, you know, send e-girls skimpy outfits, like I said. But then I realized when I actually, like, built the Throne wish list as part of the goof, like, they just jacked up the price of the product by, like, $5, and then added a whole bunch of, like, fees on top of that. And I was like, I cannot in good conscience do this as a joke. Like, the bit was funny, but I was like, I cannot, like, actually put this out there, because if somebody does go through and buy this, then they're gonna get ripped off, and I simply couldn't do that. Can I use any models for Kill Team, like Boss Snickrod, or it doesn't matter? I mean, I feel like when it comes to proxies and everything like that, like, the Kill Team sets are very, like, wow, what am I just, like, my brain just, like, stopped after that. The Kill Team boxes are very much like, we have 10 very specific units that you can use, but I feel like as long as the units you're using are of the same base shape, and you have an understanding with your opponent as to what means what, you can proxy things and move things around and, you know, do whatever the fuck you want, sort of thing. But I think for me, like, I think the thing for me is that, what is it called? Boss Snickrod's slightly larger Like, I think he's a slightly larger model because he's like a leader unit, so he wouldn't be tournament viable. So if you're playing with somebody who cares about that, then that's probably going to be a problem. But not me. Ah. Do you have a Discord link? I have a Discord link in my bio on YouTube, I think. Yeah, it's just a little Discord server that I have that basically is just used to fucking share models at this point. I'm gonna really use it for anything else. It is 18 plus, though, is the only thing. Not because there's anything horny or illicit in there, just because that's the way that I like to have it. Get out of here, children. I don't know. Okay. Next Shades game. I love being in the shading process. It's been so long since I've been able to, like, shade models that, like, now that I'm doing it, I'm just like, ooh, I'm just gooping all over it. They should have a guard kill team that's just one tank. That would... I don't think that would work. I think kill team is built very specifically for small-scale infantry skirmishes. Actually, you know what? I take it back. Somebody should do that. Because that would be like kill team boss mode, you know what I mean? Like, it's a boss fight. Or like in that weird fucking, like, shooter's blood and teeth level where you do have to fight a tank as just one orc. Or rather as a group of orcs if you're playing multiplayer, but I don't have any friends, so... I couldn't do that. I don't know. That was my one big thing when I was playing Shooter's Blood and Teeth, was I could very clearly tell that it was intended to be a multiplayer game, that I was just playing single player. And I love it when I hate it when I play games like that, because it just makes me feel so lonely. When you play multiplayer games when you play games that are designed to be multiplayer as just one person, you cannot escape the feeling that it is designed to be played by more than one person, and then that just makes you feel deeply lonely. It's like, oh, I should have 2 to 3 friends playing this with me. But I don't. I'm going to now evaluate all of my life choices that got me to this exact position. And then feel sad about it, probably. It's not centered at all. What am I doing? I'm just yammering on at this point. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I need to get a better camera for this. That's one thing that I wanted. I wanted to invest in a good camera. I got a couple of, like, content investments that I want to do this year. Yes, the Emperor's Children's Box is one of them. Okay. I'm sitting in eerie silence, but that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. Hey, you're still streaming? That I am! YouTube user RHVFX. Oh god, what am I doing? There we go. I'm just taking it chill today. I'm gonna get back into the streaming game a little bit more because, you know, it's just fun, you know? It's fun. It's nice. I like talking to all you weird people. Shouldn't call you weird. It's kind of true, though. Aaron's done. Now I can sit down and hobby along. Hell yes. We'd love to hear that. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna wait for his, sort of initial coats to dry a little bit. Oh, okay. Just gotta, like, dab up. This is a little bit too much down there. There we go. Alright, there we go. Alright, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna eat an egg. And then I'm gonna be right back. Your weekday streams are perfect for work. I missed them. Oh, Stop it. Stop it. Continue. I try my best. Alright, I'll be back in a sec. I need to refill my water and get a snack. BRB. Many people have been quick to tell me that my custom Space Marine lore is quote-unquote non-canonical or simply too silly. With that in mind, I've decided to make a pivot to a faction that uncharacteristically allows Warhammer fans to have a good time. The Orcs. This is Pots and Pans, an orc who learned everything he knows about torture from the study of human texts. These books turned out to be cookbooks, basically making him a big green version of the dwarf from Dungeon Meshi. This is Pincushion, who got his name for obvious reasons. When his comrades don't feel like holding a knife or a war trophy, they'll simply stab it into the back of his flesh, knowing full well it'll be there when they go to check on him later. This is Warboss Wreak Havoc, spelled the way you think it is. He's never lost a hand-to-hand fight with his iconic bomber hammer, but he's also never fought one with it either. Despite this, he's confident that he can win 100% of the fights he wages with this weapon. Technically, he's correct. It appears that my loyal viewers have found some entertainment with my custom orc lore, and now the good people are yearning for more. Fortunately for you, more is a trademark of orcish physiology. More bodies, more violence, more Dakar. This is Kingpin, whose original warboss once bore a mighty iron crown. Kingpin decided to one-up him with a mighty crown of his own, and he can only assume the warboss killed himself out of shame for having the inferior headpiece. In reality, the crown made him blind and lost, and he ended up accidentally wandering into the wrong orc clan, which is why he never saw the warboss, or anybody else, ever again. This is Jumper, who's a staunch advocate for replacing the orcs' reliance on promethium with green energy. Which of course is just regular promethium with little bits of orc ground into it, because orcs is the best, and make good fast juice go better. This is Warboss Wreak Havoc, who we met in the last video, but who we didn't meet was Todd. Todd is unusually creative for a Gretchen, and likes to fantasize about who his enemies are and what they might have been during their lives. This is of course moments before blasting them to pieces with the skull-mounted machine gun he's delightfully dubbed the Head Cannon. Sure, I could be using my narrative talents to write a book or something, but I'm making orcs, baby. This is Rue Brawl, a fashionable orc who loves to accessorize and bring a new meaning to the word slay. This is Grackle, and the eagle-eyed amongst you might notice there's two of him. These two orcs are near identical, but they've also never been in the same room as each other. This means that the War Clan thinks this is one guy who has a bad habit of forgetting previous conversations. And this is Sneaker, who refuses to give up his real name because he believes that will give other orcs power over him. But because everybody calls him Sneaker, that's functionally his name, and because he goes out of his way to hide it, everybody knows what it is. So, I don't know, man. If you want a faction whose philosophy makes sense, you'd be better off playing the Tyranids. I got recognized at the Warhammer store today, not by my face, mind you, but by the orcs that I had with me, proving that they are in fact more popular than I am. So here's more of them. This is Jumper, a storm boy in training. He has no idea that the rocket pack on his back has been out of fuel for some time because his natural jumping height is 12 feet. This is Clubber, who always complains he has no weapons for ranged combat. Sure, he has a heavy bolter stolen from a Chaos Space Marine strapped to his back, but the device is so goth he assumes it's some kind of decorative tombstone, and carries it with him as a trophy of war. And this is Meganobz. Orcs are famously incapable of kindness, but Meganobz has been known to speak kindly and passionately. However, he only talks this way to his Project Car. This is the car, by the way. Many people have been quick to tell me that my custom Space Marine lore is quote-unquote non-canonical or simply too silly. With that in mind, I've decided to make a pivot to a faction that uncharacteristically allows Warhammer fans to have a good time. The Orcs. This is Pots and Pans, an orc who learned everything he knows about torture from the study of human texts. These books turned out to be cookbooks, basically making him a big green version of the... What did I miss? Everyone behaving themselves? Everyone behaving themselves? I'm not. Oh. That was a mistake. I shouldn't have tried to do that. get myself a snack. Then you should freehand the models' names under the base of the rims. That would require me having a steady hand and good handwriting. I don't think I have either of those things. I simply do not have it within me. Besides, when it comes to, like, the lore and stuff that I do, and, like, the little, like, lore videos that I do, I need it to be understood. All of that stuff is made in, like, 2 seconds when I pick up the model. Like, I'm not thinking about the deep intricacies of the characters, the stories, the bits, the goofs. I just paint them, and then it's like, sweet, time to make a little video about this. You're Glebus Globus now. And then as soon as I'm done filming, I forget what that name is. What am I literally. Like, literally. The most recent, like, Warhammer lore video that I did was, like, with this fucking, like, Squighog rider right here. And, like, I gave the orc a name. I gave the Gretchen on the back a name. And then I gave the Squig himself a name. And as part of that name, I needed to reference the name of the first guy. And I was immediately like, oh, I've completely forgotten who this guy is. I filmed it within 5 minutes. That was it. I love your fit, by the way. Thank you, YouTube user Jotun Hart. I wish I could show my appreciation in a way that didn't involve me having a mouthful of hot dog. It wasn't a hot dog, it was like a smoked sausage or something like that. A little bit more high class than a hotted dog. I'm hungry, man. It's dinner time, don't judge me. You're a good person, a good soul. I do need to eat. Which is why I'm just going to finish this guy off. Okay. I think now I'm going to start shading some of his, Damn it, I put, like, there's a little bit too much of the blue shade on his boot there. I feel like I kind of fucked that up. You know what I mean? So you don't remember who Rue Brawl is? Yeah, that's true. I know that was one of the names that I gave, that I gave the orcs, and I was very happy about that. But who it exactly belongs to? Only time will tell. I mean, only history remembers. What are those fucking two? Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I am very happy with some of the names that I've given these orky bastards. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah. Seraphim Sepia is underrated AF. Like, it's probably my favorite shade paint. Oh, because look at that. Look at that. Look at the way that it just highlights that fucking... From Wraithbone to yes! Bone, bitch. Yes, bitch. Let's not think too hard about it. Orcs, more like porks. Alright. Calm down. I don't know. Porks? Isn't that just what a squig is? From Wraithbone to Bones. There it is! There, we got it. We got it in one, baby. So stupid. Alright, let's see. But yeah, I feel like out of all the shade paints that I have, like, I feel like I get the most use out of Seraphim Sepia. Because, like, look at that. It just immediately distinguishes all of the wrappings, all of the ropes, everything like that. Maybe that's just because I have a very yellow-centric color scheme on my orcs. Don't know why I said it like that, but... Urksa. Alright. I have no idea how the shading is going to go in his cape back there, because it's literally like just... It's such a large block of surface area. I've just got no idea. No idea how it's going to go. But I'm keen to find out. Oh yeah, how am I going to do that? Here, I'll put the shading on the buzzsaw first, just to procrastinate that. Oh, fuck. The last couple of models that I've done, I've, like, fucked up the quantity of, shade paint that I've used. Like, I've been overdosing on shade paints a lot. And it's left me with, like, a whole bunch of, like, weird, like, blobby sections on my models, which I'm very upset about, because there's no way to undo that. And, like, the only way to do that is just by, like, fucking it up the first time. Ulrich's suddenly Scottish. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. That was a choice that I made, and I... Listen, I don't know why I do the things that I do. Sometimes my mouth opens, and then just shit happens. I made a tweet on Blue Sky today. Makes sense, don't question it. Referencing Crazy Johns, the mobile phone provider from 2004. Why was that in my brain at 5 AM this morning? I think I'm the only person to reference Crazy John's mobile phone service in the last 20 years. Why did I do that? It must be Crazy John's. Give the cape a quick highlight with some basic volumetric shapes, so just a dry brush. I tend to do the, I tend to find that I tend to dry brush after the shading has gone down, because, like, I feel like, for me, the highlights are what I want to be on the top layer. Like, I get the logic behind them, but for me, I feel like my go-to method is to set the shades and then highlight on top of that. That's my go-to. Crazy John's. Crazy John sounds like a thing you have to deal with in the red light district. I mean, if you knew the man's face, kind of tracks. It must be Crazy John's. I'm assuming Crazy John's is a weird Aussie exclusive thing. Yeah. I mean, I could see the Uruks are Scottish. They were intelligent enough to tell the Humies that they're lost, so they shouldn't march into the crump unless they want to get crumped. I mean, that's very courteous of them. I have no idea how Age of Sigmar orcs are compared to 40k orcs. Why did I lose the name of, like, the fucking franchise? It's such a weird thing to forget. I like to use shading as a way to tint and help blend the layers beneath it, so I like highlight and shade. That makes sense. Yeah, my layering tends to go shade paint, then all the highlights on top of that. Which again. And, like, I kind of want his cape to be a little bit tattered and fucked up anyway. Like, it's gonna look a little bit weird and crinky when it's done, which I kind of want, because, like, it's a weird, like, little fucked up cape. It's not gonna be, like, pristine fabric or anything else like that. Like, I'm gonna have all of these weird grimy streaks across it that you can already see here, and I'm fine with that. Like, I already knew that that was gonna happen in the way that, like, the cloak was set out and everything like that. So I'm literally just, like, doppling fucking shade paint on there to, like, make it a little bit weird and fucked up. Because I feel like that kind of goes with the aesthetic that I want. It's going to be, like, a weird, ratty, like... It's going to be a ratty cape. A rat cape, if you will. You shouldn't, because that's a weird word that I just made up that has nothing to do with anything, but you could. Coffee staining equals free surface detail. That's the term that I've been trying to think of. I've been coffee staining my models a bunch lately, and it's a problem. It's a fucking problem, it is. What do you think of Zuckerberg's new broccoli haircut? I don't like anything that man does, whether it be his personal hygiene choices or his... All the way that he conducts his, like, fucking data harvesting oligarchy corporation. Fucking... I hate billionaires. Evil. They're taking TikTok from me. Well, not from me. They're fucking taking it away from the American people. But my analytics tells me that's 50% of my audience. I don't know how true that is. I'm just gonna trust him on that, though. I think there are so many more things I could judge the man on other than just his haircut. Okay, there we go. Alright, I think that's, there you go. It's a little bit... It's a weird, like, little divot back there that I'm not too happy about, but it was my first green stuff, Cave. What are you doing? I hate billionaires, except for me. If you're a billionaire, send me $500 right now. That's nothing to you, but to me, it's everything. If I look in the camera too much, I start changing colors, and I don't like that. Okay. Okay. Alright, what else do I have to do? What color do I shade this bit up here? I don't think it's, like, dark enough to go Agrax. Might get some Reichland. Yeah, I'll check some Reichland up there. But first I just need to Seraphim Sepia the, like, weird yellow bits up there. I'll give $20 Starbucks gift coupons. I will never go to Starbucks. That being said, I did get a Starbucks like coupon from a work thing last year, so I guess I can go to Starbucks. I mean, it's not like I'm giving them money. Someone's already given them money. It's gonna be net the same either way. Oh, okay, look at that. Look at that. Oh, the shading on those, like, chainsaw teeth. That, I cooked. I did it well. Okay. Just the tiniest hint of shade paint on these teeth, like, really brings it to the next level, I find. Hoo-hoo. Yeah, man. Probably also helps that I'm using, like... What do you call it? Oh god, it's barely centered. It's been really hard to fucking, like, center this model while I've been working on it, because it's like... The shit's mirrored, and it's only taking, like, a small portion. I need to get a better webcam. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy a new webcam. I'm gonna treat myself. Sure, it'll be a couple $100, but that's fine. What's the worst that can happen, huh? There we go, there we go. Satellite radio. Get rid of it on there. I'll also put a little bit of Seraphim Sepia on the little skull he's got on his belt. So look at that! Instant definition! We love to see it. Okay, alright. I think the last thing I just need to do is put a little bit... Oh, fuck is. Oh, look at that coffee staining under there. I fucking hate that. It's gonna... Absolutely shouldn't have done that. That definitely wasn't best practice. But you know what? Fuck it. Shades and contrast paints, goated. That's exactly right. In fact, I think I have... Where is it? I think I'll use Reichland Flesh Shade for his little, like... Don't know what that hand gesture was. A little bit that's sticking out of his head. Ugh. And my hand's sticky because it's covered in shade paint. Shouldn't have touched it with my bare hand, but I did. We goated. Oh yeah, that's it. That's what we want to see. That's what we like to see, baby. Reichland Flesh Shade is underrated. And also, I don't think I'd use it for flesh half the time. Like, I honestly use it for, like, light metals and, like, coppers like this. But flesh? Not so much. I decided to paint the teeth of 90 Tyranids on a whim, and I'm kind of regretting it, but it won't stop until it's done. That's exactly right. You're going to be at it all night. And there's no other way we'd rather it be. Okay, there we go. Last but not least, let's do a little bit of Reichland Flesh Shade on this little eyepiece here. I could do like a bluey metal, but I think a little coppery metal is going to work better. There you go. See? It's a little bit of definition on the eye. Alright, and with that, shade painting is mostly done on the 3 models that I wanted to get done. This Orc Warboss, nice and shaded right here. This Commando, nice and shaded here too. Gonna need to dry brush some of the darker parts out of him, but that's fine. And this guy here we didn't get to shading, but you know what? That's fine. I'm still happy with that. I'm still happy with that. Alright. Anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap things up for there. Take a bit of a break, wash my brushes, get some dinner in me, everything like that. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out, chatting, having a good time. Always a pleasure. And I want to get into a better rhythm so I can do this more often in the year 2024. Nope, that's not the one. 2025. That's where we are now. So have a good evening. Love you all. Kisses. And we'll go from there. I'll see you around.